Uh, Coco, you're so good in speeches, honestly. I don't know what else to say. But I want to start with you. You're a fighter. You also push me so hard to be a better player. And I like our rivalry. You're incredible. I'm happy to see you back in the finals and really hope to play many more. So congrats to you and your team.
Aryna Sabalenka has just created one of the most talked about moments in women's tennis. And it's not just because she won. After defeating Coco Gauff in the final of the Miami Open 2026, Sabalenka didn't simply lift the trophy and move on. She paused, reflected, and delivered words that completely changed how fans are viewing this rivalry. Because for years, Sabalenka versus Gauff hasn't been just another matchup. It's been intense, emotional, and at times, controversial. Two elite players, both carrying massive expectations, both bringing power and personality every time they step on court. But there has always been an edge, especially after their biggest clashes. That's why what Sabalenka said after this final felt so different. Instead of making the moment all about her victory, she chose to highlight Gauff. She called her a great competitor and made it clear that what exists between them isn't personal, it's pure competition. No bitterness, no tension beyond the court. Just two players pushing each other to the limit. And then came the most important part. Sabalenka openly admitted that since Gauff arrived at the top level, she has pushed her to become better. That is not a casual compliment. That is the world #1 recognizing someone as a true rival, someone who forces growth, who raises the standard, who demands more every time they meet. In elite sport, there's no higher form of respect than that. Because when a champion says, "You make me better," it means the rivalry is no longer just about winning or losing. It becomes about evolution, about being tested mentally, emotionally, and physically in ways that no one else can replicate. And what makes this moment even more powerful is the history behind it. Just think back to last year's French Open final. When Gauff defeated Sabalenka on that stage, the aftermath sparked real controversy. Much of the attention shifted towards Sabalenka's own level and her mistakes, rather than fully celebrating what Gauff had achieved. Many fans felt that Gauff didn't receive the credit she deserved for handling the pressure and winning one of the biggest titles in tennis. That moment added tension to their rivalry. It made things feel personal. It left a sense that something was unresolved, which is exactly why this Miami moment matters so much. This wasn't just a post-match speech, it was a shift. A sign of maturity, a recognition of what this rivalry truly represents. Because now, instead of tension defining their battles, it's respect. And when you combine respect with this level of competition, it doesn't weaken a rivalry, it elevates it. Sabalenka versus Gauff is no longer just intense. It's something bigger.
I won the match not because she played incredible, just because I made all of those mistakes from, like, if you look from the outside, kind of like from an easy balls.
It shows maturity. And more than that, it shows how rivalries can evolve over time. Maybe winning that final gave Aryna Sabalenka the freedom to speak honestly. Maybe the emotion of the moment brought clarity. Or maybe she now fully recognizes just how much Coco Gauff has shaped her journey at the very top. Whatever the reason, the impact was immediate. Sabalenka didn't hold back. She gave Gauff real, public credit. And the tennis world noticed. But it wasn't just Sabalenka. James Blake, serving as tournament director, also took a moment to highlight Gauff's incredible growth. He spoke about first seeing her at just 15 years old and watching her evolve not only physically but mentally. And that's the key. Because with Gauff, the talent was never in question. From the very beginning, the world saw the speed, the movement, the court coverage, the raw athleticism, and that fearless energy she brings into every match. But what has truly elevated her into the elite tier is her mental development, the composure, the resilience, the ability to adjust under pressure.
Coco, we've seen you burst on the scene at about 15 years old, and your athleticism was undeniable, but getting to know you since then, I'm even more impressed by your heart, your mental toughness, and your competitive spirit. What you bring to the table every single day in every match you play is an absolute credit to this sport and to your pen.
Coco Gauff is no longer that teenage sensation who shocked the world. She's now a polished, battle-tested, elite competitor. She's learned how to handle pressure, expectations, losses, criticism, and constant attention. Year after year, she's added new layers to her game. She's grown stronger in the biggest moments. And that's exactly why someone like James Blake emphasizes not just her physical rise, but her mental transformation too. Even Aryna Sabalenka seemed especially struck by Gauff's level in the later stages of the match. She admitted she could feel Gauff coming back, pushing harder, raising her intensity, and threatening to flip the momentum. And that's a crucial part of the story. Even in defeat, Gauff made the world #1 fight for every single point. Sabalenka revealed she had to push herself to the absolute limit, mentally and emotionally, just to close the match. Think about that for a second. Even in a loss, Gauff was so dangerous, so relentless, that the best player in the world had to dig deep just to survive. That's why, despite losing the final, Gauff still won something just as important: respect. She reminded everyone why she's one of the most admired players in tennis. She showed fight, she showed composure, and maybe most importantly, she earned praise from someone who hadn't always been quick to give it. And that says everything about her presence in the sport. Gauff doesn't just compete, she commands respect. She pushes opponents to their limits. She raises the emotional intensity of every big match she plays. When she steps on court, even the very best know they're in for a battle. That's also why younger players are looking up to her so strongly. Take Alex Ila as an example. For a rising star to speak about facing Gauff as a privilege tells you everything about the aura she has built. Because admiration like that isn't casual. Players understand how brutal this sport is. They know the grind, the pressure, the sacrifices it takes to survive at the top level. So when one professional speaks about another with that level of respect, it means something real.
Yeah, all things aside, in the end of the day, I think there's still definitely a gap in terms of level between me and Coco. And
win or lose tomorrow, I think it's great for me to learn. Obviously, facing a player like Coco is, something people like would cue.
What makes Coco Gauff even more impressive is that her influence goes far beyond results. It's about how she carries herself. At the Australian Open, stories surfaced about her helping Alex Ila, offering advice, sharing insights, and genuinely supporting a younger player. That matters. It shows Gauff isn't just building a reputation as a champion, but as a leader. And that's rare at her age. Most players grow into mentorship roles later in their careers. But Gauff already seems to understand the responsibility that comes with her status. That's a huge reason why she resonates with so many people. She represents excellence, but also generosity. She competes with intensity, yet still lifts others around her. She has star power, but she's stayed grounded in the qualities that made fans connect with her from the beginning. That's why Aryna Sabalenka's words after the Miami Open felt so meaningful. They didn't come out of nowhere. They came after years of tension, after major battles, after tough losses and emotionally charged moments, after a rivalry that has helped shape the modern women's game. And in that moment, Sabalenka seemed to acknowledge what many already believed. Gauff is not just a challenger, not just a rising star, not just a talented player. She is one of the defining forces in women's tennis right now. Yes, Sabalenka won the Miami Open 2026 final, but Gauff walked away with something just as powerful: undeniable respect. Respect from Sabalenka, respect from James Blake, respect from rising players like Ila, respect from legends like Maria Sharapova, and maybe most importantly, respect from a global tennis audience that now sees clearly. Gauff isn't just the future, she's the present. And if this rivalry continues to grow the way it has, we may be witnessing the beginning of an era defined by both Sabalenka and Gauff. Because moments like this make one thing impossible to ignore: Coco Gauff is no longer someone you can overlook, no longer someone you can doubt. She's someone you have to respect.